WrestleTalk!
Karrion Kross, LOL. I'm Ollie Davis. I'm joined by lukewarm Luke Owen. We haven't left. We've been here.
Stepped over my gimmick again.
Since last Monday.
Stepped over my gimmick again.
What are we going to do?
We literally just talked about what my new intro is.
Oh, what? D-A-D?
D-A-U.
LOL. Do you want to do? You want to do your thing?
Because you're supposed to do it, and then I do the finger thing.
Oh.
So do you want?
And I'm joined by Dr. Luke Owen, D-A-D.
Thank you.
Getting your S word in like an indie wrestler with no respect for the veteran. To really ring general in this match.
Are you the veteran? I suppose you are the veteran of this.
We're both the same. So, yes, we are also sponsored by Geologie.
We certainly are, absolutely. It is men's skincare reinvented. Click the link in the video description down below to take your survey to find out what regiment you should get yourself or what regiment you will be given. It is a fabulous, fabulous product. You might remember a couple of weeks ago, we took the test on air, and Ollie Davis has now got his regiment here.
Haven't seen inside it yet, but here's a reveal for when I got this out of the box it came in. What a beautiful colour.
It is a wonderful mustard colour, isn't it?
Looks like my lady partner's Instagram feed in terms of just like beautiful design and mustard yellow. Anyway, we're going to get to that. We're going to see what's inside it, and I'm going to put a bit on my face.
Oh, lovely stuff.
I'm going to put a bit on my face.
You won't be able to do the full routine because you need water. You can
Okay.
wash your face.
I've got some water.
You can certainly do the cream aspect of it.
Yeah, I'll cream over my face while we talk about Karrion Kross on this show. So, quick recap so far. Karrion Kross made his main roster debut.
Sure did.
About a month ago in a match against Jeff Hardy, and he got beaten while NXT champion in 2 minutes to a roll-up. Jeff Hardy cheated to win. One of the worst creative decisions WWE have ever done.
Oh, yeah.
Long time ago, though, now I feel like that's a lifetime ago.
Oh, it was a while
in
ago.
wrestling terms. So when I see him walk out on this episode with a big face mask, I thought, oh, T-Bar's out.
Yeah.
Forgetting that T-Bar doesn't even wear a mask like that. It just feels so retribution-y. And then I was like, what's that round his chest?
So, he looks like, and I sent you this earlier today, he looks like one of the baddies, the baddie, really, from Mad Max 2. He looks like a cross between that and Zardoz. And it is like... So, do you remember when the Ascension got called up to the main roster? And Vince looked at the Ascension and was like, well, there's no possible way I can get you two over. You'll just have to be the Road Warriors again. That's what. And they were basically doing Legion of Doom style promos. They had Legion of Doom makeup on because Vince was like, 40 years ago I had an act that were really over, so let's just do that for you again. And it feels that's what's happened with Karrion Kross. He's looked at the lack of crowd reactions for Karrion Kross and has gone, this kid isn't getting over. I know what'll get him over. I used to have this tag team 40 years ago called Demolition. If I dress him up like Demolition, that'll get him over, and that's what's going to get the crowd reactions. And I don't think it particularly works because they wrestle to absolute crickets. In fact, more crickets than he usually wrestles to.
But like in a weird way, I could just sit back and enjoy this. You know, it didn't offend me.
Oh god, it was hilarious.
It didn't make me angry.
No,
because I did all that 6 weeks ago.
Yeah.
When this happened, I just sat back and was like,
that's exactly what I did. Because he came out like his music is, and he walks out wearing this gimp mask and like this sort of like He-Man cosplay thing, and I was like, well, I guess that's what we're doing with Karrion Kross now.
I bet he's really sad behind the mask. Like, I feel for the guy. You know, he just had an NXT TakeOver main event to Samoa Joe the previous night. He's no longer got his NXT title. Scarlett Bordeaux is nowhere to be seen. And now he's on the main roster. But, like, weirdly, he got a very convincing win, which is being lost in all of this. Like, this is probably the best win he's had so far. If this was on his first night, even if he had all the stupid get-up, I think people would be like, I don't care. Because with Keith Lee, remember, he had bad entrance music, he had different gear.
The baggy t-shirt.
But he looked great in the ring. And we're like, I'm there. Like that, whatever. That's superficial at the end of the day. So weirdly, we've gone from a place where Kross had a good look, now has a bad look, but is being booked better.
Yes. So because unfortunately what has happened is they spent the last 6 weeks not doing anything good with Karrion Kross. They had him lose, then they had him beat Keith Lee, then they had him lose to Keith Lee, then they had him beat Jeff Hardy, then they had him beat Jeff Hardy. So it's basically just like he's done nothing effectively.
Overall, that's enough.
Overall, that's enough. But you're always going to remember those losses and the loss to Keith Lee. And all the while, we had that writer that contacted Andrew Zarian that was just like, you internet marks just aren't getting it. You're not seeing the bigger picture. He lost to Jeff Hardy because this is how we're going to bring Scarlett Bordeaux. There's a bigger picture to all of this. Yeah. That writer must be sat there now being like, I guess I was wrong then, because there was no bigger picture, because now they've just hit the reset button with him.
Well, Jeff Hardy tested positive for coronavirus during all this, so, card subject.
Well, they just have Keith Lee beat him then. Because if the story was Karrion Kross keeps losing until Scarlett comes in and Scarlett kind of convinces him to win, then just have him lose a bunch and then do the Scarlett thing. But then he just beat Keith Lee. So the Jeff Hardy loss made even less sense.
It's a fair argument. Another part of this is that the person who was squashed was Ricochet, and that's another guy where I'm just like, oh yeah, because like I've all my anger's passed. I've done this. I've done it already, and that's so depressing, especially considering the Money in the Bank performance this guy had.
Was he in Money in the Bank?
He was like the standout in the ladder match.
I completely forgot he was in Money in the Bank.
He wrestled for the title last February.
He certainly did, but no one ever remembers that match because they only remember the Goldberg one. But anyway, I thought the Karrion Kross thing was hilariously terrible. Proper rubbish. He looks like a joke. Do you want to role play how you think the meeting went?
Who am I?
You can be Karrion Kross. I'll be Vince.
Sure.
Yeah. Hey, Karen, how's it going?
Yeah, pretty good. I was thinking maybe Scarlett could join with me.
I've been having a think about you pal. Yeah. I've been thinking about your act isn't getting over. We can't figure out why. The crowd just aren't reacting to you. Why do you think that is?
I had this really good entrance. I'm glad you're finally talking to me about this. I think we should bring up Scarlett Bordeaux as well to come out.
I haven't got time to bring up more people.
Well, maybe I could do some TikTok-y stuff. TikTok.
Can you do tout?
No. It's like a...
I've got it, pal. You're going to dress up like a gimp. We're going to put you in chains and a mask. And the women are going to go nuts for you, pal. And the men are also want to go to you in the bussy. And then you'll get over, pal.
Oh, goddamn son of a bitch. Well, let's see what you guys thought on the Ultrachats. WrestleTalk.com/support. Please get in your chats there. Anthony Velasquez. First thing I thought of when I saw that mask on Kross was that Vince has recently seen Ninja Turtles or something. He has Kross looking like a Wish.com shredder.
It is a little bit, I don't want to say, it is a bit Shredder-esque, I suppose. Only in the mask department, though, because then the bottom half is very He-Man. Maybe he's just watched He-Man Revelations on Netflix, and he's like, fabulous He-Man series. We've now got our own He-Man.
I don't mind the mask. The mask is a piece of entrance attire.
Bit Lord Tensai.
Yeah, but at the same time, I got more Hannibal.
You got more... Hold on. You saw him dressed up like Zardoz, and you thought, that is one of the most classic movie villains of the 20th century.
Look at that.
Yeah, that is not...
I did not see the X. I just saw the mask.
That, I'm very friend, is not Hannibal.
Now I'm looking at it more. It's worse.
It is worse.
It's not what it looked like in my head.
It is worse the more you look at it.
Charles Berg, yes, this will get crossover because now he looks like Shredder, Tensai, and Savio Vega suspenders. They made Viper Niven Shorty G herself. Did Ralphus resurrect to chase off Reginald? Raw will never be good because WWE management don't care at all.
But they do care. I've seen so many people say about the Karrion Kross thing, they're trying to bury him. It's a joke. I think they think this looks cool. This is retribution. Everyone kept saying, you're doing mental gymnastics to be like, it's Vince making fun of Antifa. Vince knows that this is crap, and he's giving them crap names for a reason. No, they think this is good. And they think that the show they're making is good, and they think the characters they've got on the show are good.
Nate S. They're going to try and make Karrion Kross look cool by giving him refurbished Lord Tensai gear. He'll be Sweet K, Special K, dancing around in no time.
Guarantee you.
Gatecrasher forever. Didn't watch Raw, so honestly thought that thumbnail pic was an old Demolition photo. New Demolition lineup, Axe, Smash, Crush, and now we can add Suck.
Yeah, that's very good.
Eric Luttrell, Kross looked like a foot soldier for a Sylvester McCoy era Doctor Who villain. Yes, I like that reference.
Finally, it's a reference, because Davis doesn't like the Turtles. He doesn't like Zardoz. He doesn't like Mad Max. He somehow thought this was from Silence of the Lambs. As soon as you bring up Doctor Who, this dork.
Sylvester McCoy era Doctor Who. I've met that guy. I did a sponsored walk with him.
What, with Sylvester McCoy?
With Sylvester McCoy. And he can play the spoons.
Really?
He got an operation. He's had like a hip operation, and he's a patron of this place where my mum got her one done. And she was like, "Oh, there's going to be a sponsored walk. Do you want to come along?" I was like, "No." And then she said, "Sylvester McCoy's going to be there." I was like, "Okay." And I was already getting out my Doctor Who VHS to sign. And finally, for now, James Fiere didn't realise WWE had signed Lord Humongous from Mad Max 2.
There you go.
Is that the villain's name?
Oh, yeah. People think that Mad Max is a very serious movie, but sometimes it is just Zardoz.
Lord Humongous.
That's
a retribution name.
It still upsets me that you didn't like Turbo Kid as much as I thought you were going to. Because Turbo Kid has got so much like love and adoration for like Mad Max and that style of 80s movie, but you didn't get on with it, did you?
Well, I just found it superficial. Right. Do the Geologie plug.
I will do.
I put cream on my face.
This is Geologie. This is men's skincare reinvented. It's a simple skincare routine that is designed specifically for you. If you click the link down below and you take yourself this little 30-second quiz, they will pick out a regiment for you. And you've just got to follow that regiment then. Both Ollie and I have actually got regiment number 30, which has got 2 face creams that you do of a morning. One of them's a wash, one of them's like a cream. I've got a little eye cream for the night. I've been doing this for like 3 weeks or so now, and it has been awesome. So good. I cannot recommend it enough, actually. I've never been really good for skincare routines, but Geologie kind of had me sorted. Oh, don't drop it. Geologie have got me sorted. Geologie have got me covered, and they've done an amazing job with this package. And after only just a couple of days of me using this, I had a barbecue. Told the story before. Legit, this happened. A friend of mine said to me, "Your skin looks amazing." And I was like, that's Geologie right there. They've got 3,000 five-star customer reviews. Over 3,000, in fact. So you can head over to geologie.com, take the free skincare quiz, save up to 40% on your 30-day trial. Click the link below. That's geologie.com to save 40% on your 30-day trial. Please do click the link, take the quiz, because it really helps this channel out. Thank you so much to Geologie for sponsoring the WrestleTalk podcast today.
And for the free creams. I was looking at them. I was like, why is some yellow and why is some blue? It's a morning routine and a night routine.
There you go.
How smart is that?
Oh, yeah.
So I can't wash my face with warm water.
Yeah. So you got 2 of the orange ones because you can use that one at night as well. The way they kind of suggest you can have one of these in your gym bag, maybe.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So that's your cream.
After cleansing, apply 1 pump of cream.
Mm-hmm. A 1 pump is all you need. That's what I say. I'm going to be a dad.
Pump. Pump.
Have you got to take the thing out?
What thing?
Is there like a stopper in there?
No, I feel like it's coming.
It needs to warm up.
Oh my god, it's like Russian roulette. One pump.
So good.
See, a bit more.
Just a little bit extra.
Okay. All right.
Oh, doing on your T-zones, very good. It does say, dab 1 pump of Vital Morning Cream onto your forehead and cheeks, then rub it in with your fingertips using circular motions to spread it evenly across your face. As with all skincare products, avoid your eyes.
Yeah. Well, there's a little eye cream here for nighttime.
Yeah, that's the repair. It's the night cream repair. Just thing that under your eyes.
No, when I told my lady partner that Geologie was sponsoring her, she was like, "Thank you," because she's always like, "Please, you've got to figure out what a skincare regime is." And I'm like, "Look, I don't know what to do." It's one of those things where you start researching, and there's like so many things. Do I need this? Do I need that? And there's so much to get into. I just shut down and stop. Whereas this, it tells me what to do when, and I recognize some of these ingredients as being very good. Niacinamide, I've heard before. That's what closes the pores on your face.
Really?
You know what? You actually are looking pretty good.
Thanks, mate. Do you know what? It's actually really good after I've shaved my head as well. And like I just sort of like all over there, all over my face. It's really, really good. All over my face is sometimes the best.
Well, you can all over my face.
Oh yeah, that one pump.
You can get your one, and I will. Yeah.
Take the quiz. Click the link down below. Please take our quiz. Get yourself onto Geologie. Excellent. Excellent service. Thank you so much for being a sponsor for us as well. We've really enjoyed having them review or sponsor 3 out of the last 4 Raws that we have done.
Raw, like raw skin.
Yeah, which I don't have anymore. Are you just keeping yours on now? Because you've got to do the circulation to rub it in. You're missing it, mate. Do you want me to help you?
Oh, you look young, yeah.
Yeah, you do actually. Listen, you're not as sweaty as you'd think. You've got a tiny little bit under your eyes there.
Yeah?
That's great, yeah. Well done, mate.
Oh!
Feel rejuvenated.
Oh, yeah.
Men's skincare reinvented.
Well, you can see my progress and Luke's progress throughout the next couple of weeks. I'm going to be using these.
Mm-hmm.
Right, this episode of Raw.
God, there was nothing happening on this show, was there?
Who wants to just watch us put on my skincare regime?
I mean,
we could just do that.
We could do, but we might as well just talk about like the show. It's not going to take as long, is it?
Let's do it. Right. So the show opened with Bobby Lashley and MVP came out. They recapped what happened at SummerSlam, which was Bobby Lashley beating Goldberg and then beating up Sunberg. This was interrupted by Damien Priest.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Was cool. I really enjoyed that actually because like Raw has beaten me into submission as of late. Where like on the SummerSlam review I was like, they're just going to do this repetitive thing and this repetitive thing and this repetitive thing. On this show there was only one rematch. Everything else was broadly new.
What was the rematch?
AJ versus Riddle in the main event.
Oh yeah, but that doesn't. I don't mind that.
Don't mind because it's great stuff, mate. And I suppose you could say that Woods versus Miz. I feel like I've seen that match a billion times, but they haven't done it recently, so it felt like a little bit new. Damien Priest coming out to interrupt Bubbles. Oh, thumbs up for that.
I must say though, and I was like, yes, but then Damien Priest opened his mouth. I was like, oh, you have the worst character.
Yeah,
you're a bully, and just it's not good for Priest. But he does have the US Championship now, so that's cool. And he challenged Bobby to a match. Bobby, nice detail here, was in his suit. So he had to leave, and then he got a full entrance again, came out, and he was in wrestling mode. They had about a 1-minute match. Sheamus ran in, started beating up Priest, and I'm like, why now?
Yeah.
Why did he do it now? And then Drew McIntyre ran in to beat up Sheamus. I'm like, what? Why?
Yeah.
I wonder where this is going. Tag team match players was a decent match, but then Bobby Lashley just decided to walk out on Sheamus. Sheamus got hit by a Claymore and he loses.
I enjoyed the tag match. I enjoyed the in-ring action though.
Sheamus, I thought was like when it was just Sheamus wrestling Drew and wrestling Priest.
Yeah,
it was like yes.
Yeah, it's really really good, right? Yeah, and like I like the fact that we're getting Priest into this title picture now. Sheamus has got a match with Bobby Lashley next week. Well, who else is there? There's no other title contenders on Raw because they're now all on SmackDown. By the way, actually, Sean's teased this. I think there's going to be a report coming out this week that a USA Network is not happy that both Becky and Brock are on SmackDown.
Yeah.
But so now like all the top people are over on SmackDown. So Raw's basically just like, should we just do Drew again?
For 3 hours?
Even though they can't do Drew again because the stip was the Drew. I think they're just going to ignore that. And I think they're going to do a fatal 4-way at Extreme Rules with all 4 of them in there. And that's almost like the loophole they'll use. Be like, you said I couldn't challenge it if it was a straight singles match or something along those lines.
I got the impression that we are now in time-filling mode until Goldberg has the match
at
with
Saudi
Lashley.
Arabia.
Saudi Arabia, wherever it is. But likely Saudi Arabia. Which means, let's just have some pointless, not pointless, but, like, directionless multi-man feuds. Where there's never, ever really, like, a proper story because there's just a bunch of guys.
No, there is a story here. Damien Priest said to Bubbles, you're a bully. And Damien Priest don't like bullies. Sheamus is angry at Priest because he won the title off of him. And Drew is done with Jinder.
Yes,
So,
right, there it is.
There it is. There's your story.
Doudrop is backstage, cutting an interview, and she's like, yeah, I'm my own person now, and I'm going to own Doudrop. And I'm like, oh, god damn it, you could have changed your name.
As Charles Berg said, they Shorty G'd it. Because remember, Shorty G was meant to be like an insult, and it was like, actually, no, I'm going to own this now.
Yeah. But then Eva Marie attacked her, and they will have a match next week.
And you know it's serious, because Doudrop called her a bitch.
Yeah, but from the ground.
Yeah, you bitch. She literally just went, bitch. So it's serious.
Then we got the Ricochet Karrion Kross match,
Lol.
which we talked about. Sheamus went backstage at Lashley and shouted at him.
That was so cool. They barged into his room, started yelling at him. Bobby's like, and they're just yelling at each other. And it made me want to see them have a fight.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't really...
All right, I like
didn't
this.
really register with me. But cool. Yeah, they're having a match next week. Then we got a very fun segment for the wrong reasons.
I have only written 5 notes for this.
Really? So much happened.
I've just written, this was an absolute failure.
So it's Moist TV, John Morrison's version of Miz TV. His guest is beloved YouTuber Logan Paul. Totally not controversial, always beloved by the people. He comes down, and the idea is the crowd are going to cheer Logan Paul, and the Miz is going to come down and make it all about the Miz. And that will breed dissension between Morrison and the Miz, because after the Xavier Woods match that follows, Miz turns heel on Morrison. The crowd did not want to play that game because they hated Logan Paul and they booed Logan Paul, which meant they cheered the Miz. This was such a bad idea.
It was an absolute failure of epic proportions. It was so funny. I have actually heard people defend this segment. Sean being one of them.
Oh, Sean.
And Sean said WWE knows he's a heel. They booked him as a heel. And this is before I'd actually watched the segments. And so I went into the segment being like, maybe people are just completely misjudging this. And like, Logan Paul is going to be this big heel character. And I was like, oh God, Sean, you're so wrong. Big E endorsed Logan Paul in the video package beforehand, and he made fun of Baron Corbin. So he's endorsed by beloved babyface Big E, and he then rags on hated heel Baron Corbin. He's also endorsed by Xavier Woods in this segment at the end, where they're like, hey, brother, like, this is so cool. Logan Paul even said, Miz, you're not my favorite. The New Day are my favorite tag team. WWE thought the crowd are going to go nuts for Jake or Logan Paul, and they're going to cheer whichever one he is so much, and the Miz is going to get this incredible heel heat off of it. The complete opposite happened, and Jake and or Logan Paul were befuddled by what was going on and didn't know what to do.
It was beautiful.
It was so funny. I nearly saw them, but it was so funny. He was just like, come on, guys. He was like, he literally at one point said, oh, please, guys.
He said, I guess they hate me. And like, you could see when Miz comes out, the camera cuts to Miz, but just before the camera cuts to Miz, Morrison is like, like saying to him, don't worry, man, just keep going, we can get through this.
Oh, it was so funny. And then he just left.
Yeah, the Miz comes out and he sort of plays up this routine where he is saying, oh, you're such a great guy. Your brother Jake has this boxing match this weekend. So it's just a way to butter him up before the heel line. So how quick is it before your brother gets knocked out this Sunday?
Crowd.
Like he's this huge, like the Miz is this baby face. Totally the wrong thing to do, because the Miz is going to turn heel very shortly against Morrison. So like, as much as we took pleasure in this like schadenfreude, it was really damaging to this story of Miz and Morrison, which they have been telling for a while. And you know, I like Morrison. I wanted him to have something more here, so it did ruin it a bit, unfortunately.
Yeah, this was, as I said, an absolute failure in pretty much all regards. Hilarious, really, you know, as in terms of Schadenfreude. It was so funny to watch whichever Paul he was. Just don't know, not have zero clue what to. And you'd think he would know. You'd think he does this sort of thing for a living. He would know what to do if the crowd are not reacting the way that he's been told the crowd will react. He
was there for the Sami Zayn angle, and he punched Sami Zayn, and he got cheered.
That was in the Thunderdome.
Was that a Thunderdome? That's what, because they cheered him in the Thunderdome.
But they booed him at WrestleMania, and Owens gave him the stunner at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
so you'd think that WWE know that Logan Paul, or whichever one he is, isn't liked, and that's why they had Owens give him the stunner. But here, they definitely set him up to be the big baby face.
I totally get why they had to carry on with the plan, because, you know, you get shouted at a lot if you don't. But wouldn't it have been fun if Miz went down there? He's a pro. He can put the crowd in the palm of his hand and just change his tact. Because Miz just needed to go, Logan Paul, what a guy. He knows what it is to succeed in life. And just flip the promo on its head. Yeah. Because it's not about Logan Paul here. It's about Miz overshadowing John Morrison.
I think you're wrong there. This was all done to promote the boxing match that's happening this weekend. That's why he was there.
Yeah, but just from a story perspective.
But so you have to get that line in. You have to have Miz say that line, because the whole point is to put over the boxing match this weekend.
Well, he can do that. He can promote the match, but do it in a way where he is positioning himself with Logan Paul. So they're getting booed, and Morrison is.
But aren't they supposed to be like the baby faces in the boxing match?
I don't know. We've spent far too much time on this.
It's very funny.
Xavier Woods comes out. Looks like Kofi Kingston is not cleared to wrestle. Make of that what you will. That's why he wasn't on SummerSlam. It was just Xavier Woods doing his lonely squirty squirt routine. The report was New Day were going to feud with Miz and Morrison. So this, to me, it seems like they've moved the Miz-Morrison breakup forward.
I think so, yeah.
Miz, what happened?
So Miz and Woods had a match. It was actually really good, although it didn't make Woods look great, because Miz was kind of dominating for a lot of this and had the match won on multiple occasions. It was Morrison kind of his backfiring interference that gave Woods the victory. Like, Woods eventually escaped being like, I got one over on you. And like, even Jimmy Smith, not Jimmy Smith, kept saying on commentary, yeah, Miz is like, he's been treated out of the match here. I'm like, he's the heel, Jimmy. Like, if Corey Graves is saying that, it's one thing. Yeah. It's only Byron Saxton, the lone person, being like, good for Xavier Woods. Jimmy and Corey going like, man, Miz got screwed.
Yeah. One of my rare pleasures on Raw is a singles Xavier Woods match. I love them. And that they generally, especially this year with Riddle, have been very good. This was boring. I thought this was a bad match. And I wasn't into it.
I hope, because we've got a match between Morrison and Miz next week, so it's not being saved for pay-per-view. I hope that John Morrison drops the water stuff. Yeah. And he comes out next, because like, if he's still Johnny Drip Drip, the feud doesn't work. He's got to come out as John Morrison and up against the Miz and just drop all of this goofy nonsense.
Yeah. Miz like pretended to make up with Morrison at the end, but then turned on him, skull-crushing finale. It was like, I just wanted more from it, you know? They've been building this for a while. It's predictable, but that doesn't mean I have to be so, I don't know, what's the word? Unimpressed by it.
Yeah, yeah. Just because it's taken them 8 months doesn't mean it's good.
Yeah. Nikki asked, almost a superhero, Nikki, almost a superhero, asked Rhea Ripley backstage if she'll be her tag partner to take on Shayna Baszler and Nia Jax.
Weird this, because they'd announced on social media they were already having a match.
Maybe it was an earlier today thing.
Well, it was, but even so, like, it felt like they'd announced the match, then filmed a segment where Nikki was like, will you be my tag partner? If I was Rhea Ripley, you were like, I already know, because social media team tagged me on Twitter.
Reginald was going to get ice cream, and R-Truth and Akira Tozawa tried to steal the 24/7 title. He flipped away.
I'm sure YouTube and TikTok will love it.
Randy told Riddle not to do anything stupid in the title celebrations later. He didn't.
He did. Well, no. I mean, he gave him a scooter.
That's not stupid.
To Randy Orton, it might be, though. Like, that's the thing. What is Randy Orton's level of stupid?
Kofi Kingston. Then we got Mansoor facing someone other than Mason T-Bar.
Delightful.
And it was Jinder Mahal.
Jinder Mahal. Bless Jinder Mahal. Came out to crickets here. God love him.
But he turns head to airports.
Does he?
Yeah, he's got to get... That's what Nick Khan wants. He's got a good bod.
Comes out to... And I'm unsurprised he came out to crickets, because the Drew feud has done absolutely nothing for him. And I know I said that the Paul segment was an absolute failure. I think this was also an incredible failure.
Oh, really?
On multiple levels. Because there was a very simple story to tell here, and WWE did it wrong. So the story they were telling is that last week, Mansoor got a win over Mace because of Ali interfering. Ali interfered and cheated on his behalf. So they then had this backstage segment where Ali's like, look, we've got a really good thing going here. We can do this, we can do this. And Mansoor said, I've got a match with Jinder Mahal. I don't want you interfering. I want to win the right way. And Ali's like, all right, okay. It's up to you. So then they have this match. And Jinder loses because he gets himself DQ'd because he's an idiot.
Yeah, just wouldn't stop beating him down.
Yeah, Jinder kicks too much ass in the corner. The referee calls for the DQ. So Jinder loses. And then Ali's looking at Mansoor and be like, oh, what did I tell you? I was like, what are you talking about? He just won. he just won his match. And then Jinder leaves and Jinder's like, and I'm like, what are you talking about, Jinder? You just lost. And then Corey Graves said, and this is a direct quote, things are turning around for Jinder Mahal. Like, he just lost. He just lost a match. How is things turning around for him?
He's lost his mind.
There's a simple way to do this, though. Jinder Mahal wins because Shanky and Veer interfere. They cost Mansoor the match, and Jinder picks up the victory. And Ali's like, you see? This is what happened.
Yes, I needed to interfere. God damn, that's good.
That's all it needed.
Oh, but there.
But they didn't want Mansoor to lose, and they didn't want Jinder to win. So neither of them won, really. And then Jinder's like, got one up on you. I was like, no, you lost, mate. Again.
We've got to watch it play out.
So stupid. This company hates wrestling matches because wrestling matches interfere with the stories they're trying to tell. And so they just have to like book these finishes because like, well, it's the only finish that we can do so we can carry on telling the story that we want to tell. Stupid wrestling keeps getting in the way of things.
The stories they want to tell aren't even coherent.
I know.
Drew McIntyre and Damien Priest are backstage. They're just talking to each other. Drew's very good, whatever situation you put him in. I really don't like Priest's character.
I can tell.
Like he's just like, oh, I'm just so happy. I'm like, you're meant to be a cool playboy. Or if you are this now on the main roster, it's not cool. Like you're just. I'm trying to think of who's someone like that recently.
What, like a cool playboy, or just
no, just the lame baby face who stands up against bullies and is so generic.
Nikki
I feel
Cross.
like I feel like we've seen this character on multiple people for 5 years now.
Yeah,
and
it was Ali for a little bit.
Yeah, and he's just So I think hopefully he turns heel, right?
Yeah, that's the answer.
Charlotte, speaking of heels, comes out. She cuts a promo. It's good. She says she's got 12 women's title reigns now, not counting the NXT one. She doesn't need friends. She doesn't need family. She doesn't need new people. Then she held up the title, and her music starts playing, and pyro goes off. I was like, okay, well, short and sweet. There's the title celebration segment. The music stops playing. She brings down the title, and then she starts cutting more promo.
I think this was by design.
I think it was a botch.
The camera cut to the screen, and it had her name on it for the pyro to go off. That was her celebration.
Because production got it wrong.
I
I think they hit the pyro button and the Titantron and the camera button when Charlotte hadn't finished her promo. The cue was raise the title, and she raised the title in the middle of the promo.
I disagree because the end of this segment is Alexa Bliss.
Well, then she emerges through the pyro smoke.
Oh, you got to have her music play. I think this played out exactly as intended.
Well, then it was rubbish.
I very much agree.
And like the extra bit was nothing.
It was about her cheekbones.
It was about her cheekbones, how good they are. And then Bliss comes out with the doll Lily, which means it probably is going to stick around after stupid kids brought stupid versions of it at SummerSlam. And she went, we're just here to say hi. And then they stared at each other for about 3 minutes.
Bliss came out to a great pop. She got a great reaction from this crowd. So they were really into it. I think that we, inside our little wrestling bubble, I would say 89% of our audience do not like the Alexa Bliss Lily team up. I think there is a portion that do, but I think we are a small minority. I think the actual much larger WWE universe really likes this shtick. And I think that they're going to have a pretty decent match at Extreme Rules. I think there'll be gimmicks aplenty. I am so curious to see if Charlotte Flair, if like they present to her, oh yeah, Willie's going to... Willie. Because I was about to say, Willie's going to link at you. Rather than Lily's going to wink at you.
Willie's going to link at you.
Willie's going to link at you. Sorry, Lily's going to wink at you. And Charlotte Flair's like, no. Have you seen who I am? I'm Charlotte
Lily
Flair.
And Willie.
That's not happening whatsoever.
But what about Willie?
But what about Willie? So the other thing to mention about Charlotte Flair is that I find it very hard to take her as champion seriously. And the reason for that, and I was like, why is this? Why do I not take her seriously as champion? The reason is that she's a 12-time champion in the space of, 6-7 years? So I went and I did some research. Her average day amount of reign as champion across all of her titles is 49 days.
Still way more than Banks.
So it's just like 2 months is basically her average reign as champion. And that is only because she held the Divas Championship for nearly 200 days. If you remove the Divas Championship, which you may as well do, it's not a real title, it comes down to 36.
Wow.
And her Raw Championship average is 40.
Quick maths.
I mean, it wasn't that quick. I had to use Google. But
do you think she's losing to Bliss then?
Yeah, probably.
What are Extreme Rules?
Well, I was about to say yeah, probably, because she doesn't hold on to the title for long. But it is in Columbus, Ohio, which is Bliss's hometown.
Oh,
so she's probably not going to win there, is she?
Well, I'm both like, I'm into the idea of a Bliss Charlotte feud. I just don't want the puppet to be part of it.
Agreed. I would wager neither does Charlotte.
Elias got a video package, the latest chapter, where he said that he's mastered the entertainment part of World Wrestling Entertainment. Now, he's going to master the wrestling part. I was like, what have you been doing? Well, they just let an entertainer in the company.
Yeah, go across there. What do you think Reggie is?
So he's now going to be... Look, if you are ever a wrestler in WWE, and WWE are like, let's strip away your gimmick, so your gimmick is now you are just a wrestler. That is the death knell. That is, you are getting released next year.
Well, yeah, maybe. I mean, I think he's just going to get another 3-week push. He's going to get the Jackson Riker, the Umberto, the where's Angel Garza been? You know, we had the Rose Up the Ass gimmick for a little bit. Like, they just have these series of 3-week pushes. Yeah. I think he's going to get a buttload of video packages that'll have a payoff where he comes out of a match. The match will be to cricket. He'll have another 2 of those, and then we won't see him again.
He is not someone known for his in-ring work. Never has been. So WWE, in their infinite wisdom, take away the only thing that sort of made him stand out. We got Nikki and Rhea versus Jackson Baszler next. Thought Jackson Baszler broke up. But they did cut a little promo saying, hey, we're back together again.
Well, yeah, but this promo, again, this is wrestling getting in the way of the stories that they're trying to tell. Because Shayna Baszler walks up to Nia Jax and be like, well, you see what happens when you team with someone else? You see what happens to you? And I was like, yeah, they won. Like, Nia Jax and Charlotte Flair won last week. Yeah. And Nia Jax is like, I can't believe Charlotte Flair did that. What, win? Win you a match? That's a good thing. You won a match. What? So basically... Nia Jax had the match won, and then Charlotte slapped her on the ass, and then she hit the natural selection to get the win. I'm like, so, yeah, she teamed with someone else and won Baszler. It's a good thing. The Baszler's like, well, this is what happens. So you team with Baszler, what happens? She lost again. If I'm Nia Jax, I'm like, I want to go team with Charlotte. Yeah. I think she gets me wins.
So in this, Nikki got worked over 100% of the time, made the tag to Rhea. Rhea won.
Yeah.
With a riptide on Shayna. Don't care.
Nope. Well, you know, it's another... They were putting over on commentary that they are... What a strong team that they could be. So
Rhea and Nikki.
So it looks like they might stick around because they've just beaten the most dominant women's tag team in WWE history. So, who have lost a bunch of times this year. So I guess that they're going to be sticking around as our 3rd odd couple pairing on Raw.
They love it. It's their new favourite thing to do. So you better believe they're going to do it to death. Speaking of odd couples... The OGs, the ones that are doing it best. Great crowd all night, though, I would say. And they were excellent for this final segment. which was a tag team title celebration party thing. Randy Orton came down. Riddle has surrounded the ring with balloons, got a load of pyro going off. He got the scooter as a present. The crowd are super into it, chanting Arcade Bro. AJ Styles and Amos come out because, of course, they do. And it turns into AJ versus Riddle.
Yeah, and they had, predictably, a really good match because AJ and Riddle have very good matches together. A lot of fun, this.
Did you notice how when AJ came out, and then it took ages for Amos to follow him?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what? Why don't they just come out together?
Here's my thinking. They knew that AJ's mic wasn't working, so they had to give Amos another microphone because he had that microphone in his pocket.
Did AJ have a microphone?
Well, I'm going to presume. Maybe?
I just thought it was a funny bit where AJ came out, then Amos came out, and AJ reaches into Amos's pocket and gets out a microphone.
Oh, maybe it was. Maybe I'm reading it wrong. I don't know why Amos came out so slowly. I mean, he is tall.
Yeah. Got caught on one of the bits of rigging. So yeah, AJ called him stupid. So this meant, by the way, that Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce hadn't booked a main event for the show.
They had. It was the title celebration.
For half an hour.
For half an hour. Hey, they did it with Rock and Sock. One of the biggest ratings they've ever had. Maybe Adam Pearce and Sonya Deville were like, those who don't learn from history are doomed to repeat it. So they tried to learn from history. And then AJ and Amos had to ruin their plans and book a wrestling match that gets in the way of things.
The commentators then announced 3 separate matches for next week. We've talked about them already, but Sheamus versus Bobby, Eva Marie versus Doudrop, Miz versus Morrison. Who knows if any of those are going to go ahead? But that is quite rare for WWE. Why are they caring?
Yeah, ratings?
I mean, that's a pretty loaded card, I'd say.
Very loaded card. The WWE Champion's having a match. That's actually a pretty rare occurrence.
Eva Marie, Doudrop, Miz and Morrison, those are months-long storylines that are culminating on a episode of Raw.
Yeah.
But the match itself, Riddle versus AJ, yeah, really, really good. I thought Riddle showed great babyface fire. And having Randy on the outside, like first begrudgingly being there, but by the end he was into the match. He took out Amos, so Amos couldn't interfere by being tall. And Riddle got the win. Lovely.
The tall thing, it's not working for me, brother.
No?
Well, only because, so Riddle keeps getting himself distracted by Amos when he goes up onto the top turnbuckle and then Amos stares at him. Problem is, at that point, Riddle is taller than him.
Way taller.
So Riddle's not scared by his height because he's above him.
Yeah, but he's probably stoned.
He's just, oh my god, it's Godzilla.
It's like Amos is warping into his brain.
That's how it is.
Maybe. Overall, this episode of Raw, it was, like how you have certain expectations for a go-home episode? I have certain expectations for a post-Big 5 pay-per-view.
Yeah.
And I wanted some direction. I wanted hot new storylines. I wanted stuff. But what I felt like we got was a bunch of either repetitive storylines, so we're just getting the Raw Tag Team title feud again, but with the titles switched, or just nothing.
Yeah, that was my kind of deal with this. It was just a whole lot of nothing was on this show. Karrion Kross's new gimmick is hilariously crap. The Paul thing was hilariously misjudged. But it was just I was apathetically watching it. And that's kind of how I felt about it. I was just like, yeah, it's on. And then it finished like, cool, it's finished. Like, I had no emotional attachment to it whatsoever.
The Raw after SummerSlam.
Yeah.
But do you feel, having 2 days between the pay-per-view and Monday Night Raw, do you feel like it lost a bit of energy?
Maybe. I don't know, man. Because you'd have thought, though, the NXT... Oh, granted, very few people watch it. But you'd have thought the NXT thing might have, kept some spark up because the Walter Dragunov match was so great. Anyway, 2 out of 5. Community also agreed. 43% said 2 out of 5. 27% said 1 out of 5 Rawful. 24% said 3 out of 5 Avrorge. And then 3% for 5 out of 5, 4% for 4 out of 5.
That skewers very negative there.
It certainly does, doesn't it?
Before we get in with your Ultra Chats on the rest of the show, let's give a big thank you to our wonderful Pledge Hammers on Patreon. So many of you have joined up with us because there's never been a better time to become a Pledge Hammer, has there?
There's never, Patreon, a better time to be a Hammer Pledge.
That's exactly what the script says. 14, I think No, 1,300.
I know, which is mad. We haven't had a number that high before.
No.
We're coming for you, Danhausen.
We've always had like 1,000, 1,100, but shot up this month. So thank you, everybody, ever so much for that. And particularly our $25 a month or more backers who get a shout-out and a wrestling nickname in our Hall of Fame. Daylight Robbery, Rob James.
Kevin, Wakeham.
Mad Mac, the Meat Father.
Blompier's #1 fan, Tom Delves.
Thrilling, Thibbo.
Dylan from Cork.
The Machine Gun, Alex Anderson.
The Emperor's New Groove, Nick Lama. That's Pete's work. That's very good.
He's a family guy, Jeff Griffin.
The Pagan Maker, William Pagan.
The name's Jablonski, Daniel C. Jablonski.
Brian, Null and Boyd.
Jablonski is fun to say.
Isn't it just?
Jablonski. John, and finally, John J13 Napier.
Very lovely. Thank you all so much. If you are one of our Patreon backers as well, and you've been wondering yourself, hey, where the heck is the WrestleTalk Extra review of SummerSlam 2002? It is coming. It's coming very, very soon. I'm actually going to be editing it Thursday. I was going to try and get it done today, but things got in the way. Thursday is hopefully when I'll have it up for you.
You're going to be a busy boy Thursday.
Yeah, I know.
Cineworld AEW.
Well, the problem is we're in Toilageddon now.
Toilageddon.
I've got to take days off.
Right, let's get into these Ultrachats. SMB says, whoa, relax. Everything is okay. Our Lord and Saviour returned last night, but in a different form. My theory is Slapjack has been training hard in catering and has eaten so many rare candies, he has evolved into Karrion Kross. Thoughts? Hashtag jam that Boosie.
Have you seen the SummerSlam My Boosie You Sign guy has got a Twitter account now? And he tagged us because he saw our reviews and stuff and our live reactions.
Lovely.
It was very, very funny.
Gary Boosie. Spruelsy. How long until WWE have Karrion Kross as a new Funkadactyl? What, Karrion Kross himself as a Funkadactyl?
I think you could pull it off.
3 weeks. Bacon Rasher. Hi lads, I think Vince is cross with Kross and he's a boss. You shouldn't cross. He don't give a toss and Raw is still dross. 2 out of 5 show. At least some new things happen, sort of. Thanks for making crying at Punk's return okay, Ollie. Sorry I couldn't watch live Jam That Jam. It's not okay. Stop it, you man babies.
Have you had any?
I was sweaty.
Have you had any blowback for your calling them snowflakes in the news today?
I don't know. SMB again. Oh no, that's gone. Cool. James Dobinson. Is this a?
It's a poem,
right? A poem. Okay, James.
We haven't had a poetry corner on the podcast for a while now.
He sent this in twice, so I'm only going to read it once, James Dobinson. I can't see any differences, but here we go. This week's Raw Rhyme Part 1. Who next for Lashley? Something new? No, afraid not. Back to Drew. Morrison turned on by Miz. It's a stupid name, but do drop it is. Who will face Charlotte? Let's not be silly. It's Alexa Bliss and her stupid doll Willie. I changed Willie for Lily.
The puppet in the Twilight Zone, the ventriloquist doll, was also called Willie. So I think maybe that's why we're going to be doing it now.
You just got Willie on the mind.
I've always got Willie on my mind. It's because we're talking about cream so much.
Ket! I like Charlotte, but her being champion again doesn't interest me. Made worse by the fact Alexa is going for the belt. Never been a fan of Alexa or her in-ring work. This whole division on both brands hasn't been good since the Bayley and Sasha feud. Yeah. Where the hell's Asuka?
Well, yeah. Creative is nothing for you.
Matt Netic Field. RK Bro is honestly the best thing in the company right now, mainly as I feel Roman's story feels slightly derailed. The genuine chemistry Randy and Riddle have is so fresh. Also, congrats, Luke, to paraphrase Darth Vader. Luke, you are a father.
Thank you very much.
Demar DeRozan. I never have fully gotten Kross, but I feel horrible for him. Went from an unbeatable monster to looking like a male dominatrix. Happy for Priest that he is getting a strong push. A better Raw than usual, but still not great. At least less rematches. Definitely better than the last couple of months, I'd say.
Do you think Adam Cole watched Raw today? I was like, what are my options? When he saw like Karrion Kross come out, be like, do I re-sign and go to Raw or SmackDown, or do I go somewhere else?
He could be Karrion Kross's valet.
He could be one of the Crossadactyls.
Will Campbell. Hey guys, despite the ridiculousness with Kross and squashing Ricochet, I thought that this was a pretty decent show, at least a 3 out of 5. Damien... So he says Damien Priest looked great.
Charlie Caruso over here.
But he has abbreviated Damien Priest to DP looked great. The tag match that followed was solid, Charlotte's promo was fine, and the Riddle AJ match was dope. ICUP, knowing... Damn it. I read that out loud. ICUP. Knowing how bad WWE booking is on a scale from 1 to 10, what's the chances of WWE putting the title on Willie? I won't fit mine. Alexa comes down next week and says, I'm not challenging you, Charlotte. Willie is. Even this one wouldn't fit.
I have been pushing... If the full-size one isn't... Yeah. I have been pushing since day one for Bliss and Lily to win the women's tag titles because they may as well. They don't matter. You know how little they matter? Tegan Knox and Shotzi Blackheart beat the champions 3 times in a row. And then Michael Cole was like, I think they might be in title contention now. Because they don't matter as belts. Put them on a doll. You may as well.
Some people just want to watch the world burn.
Ben Johnson. Hey guys, congrats on the wrestle, baby Luke. Thank you very much. Who do you think WWE are going to call up from NXT? And are they going to be happy? And are they going to do it worse than Karrion Kross?
I don't think worse than Kross. In terms of who?
Dakota Kai, maybe? I mean, she was having matches on Dark, I guess. She was having dark matches, rather, not matches on Dark.
There's nobody. Like, I think of NXT and there's no one there where I'm like, oh, can't wait for them to go up to the main roster. They've either been there too long or they've been released.
Or I feel like there's a bunch of guys there. Because, like, we are now in... And Nick Khan as well confirmed that Dave Meltzer report that we're getting changes, both, like, visually to NXT to make it, what was the line? More accessible for wrestlers to be able... For superstars to be able to go from NXT to... So they're basically going to make it look like Raw and SmackDown.
I mean... Let's be honest, the Capital Wrestling Center looks dull at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. And they can't go back to Full Sail.
Yeah.
So we're now getting past the indie stage, the indie darling stage of NXT. So when I look at all of the guys there, like Kyle O'Reilly, Roderick Strong, Kushida, Swerve Scott, and all these guys, all I can see is Ciampa, Gargano, 205 Live. Yeah. That's the only place that they're heading is 205 Live. So I'd rather not have any of them go up. Oh, so it's me, isn't it? Dylan Jason Voorhees. SummerSlam was the first pay-per-view I've watched since Mania. And although it had its down moments, Goldberg, watching Edge versus Seth was amazing. Raw was meh, but at least it's newish stuff. Who do you think will dethrone Roman? I still predict Edge. I've just got a feeling.
I still don't know who dethrones. You know what? I could see them chucking the title on Brock for a month and then Roman winning it back.
Yeah. So you do like the Saudi match, you do Brock Roman. Yeah. Brock wins the title there. That also means we also thought that Goldberg would win the title as well. I don't know. Jack Nichols, my interest in WWE is so dead, Logan Paul wants to take a selfie with it.
Oh God. That's good. That is very good.
Also, congratulations, Luke.
Shouldn't take photos with that people.
You shouldn't. It's not good. It's not funny at all. Oh, dearie me. Sorry, where did I get to? SMB. Another theory. This week, at the start of NXT, a video package of all its history plays and the video fades to black, comes back with Riddle walking up the ramp with ganja-fueled dream. Turns out NXT was all a dream. And then the game show is opened by host Titus O'Neil.
Love it.
iCup says, good morning, guys. Thanks for always making my Tuesday morning so entertaining. Did you happen to catch Dante Martin versus Anthony Bowens from AEW Elevation? It was leaps and bounds better than anything on Raw. Thanks for watching, so I don't have to.
No, I haven't seen it.
I have not either.
Bit wrestled out, to be honest.
Yeah. Charles Berg, thank you for sending across the poor review. Still can't get it up on screen, so I'll just have to read it. Junie is a Bernese mountain dog who is shockingly afraid to be touched and will get aggressive if people try to pet her. She loves me, though, trust me, 100%, and cuddles with me. 11 out of 10, nicknames Junebug, Wiggle Jiggle Butt, Looney June.
Wiggle Jiggle Butt.
That's good. Bishop Badass. First, I want to say congratulations to Father Luke Owen, DAD. Father Luke's pretty good. Doctor.
Than Doctor. Yeah.
The father will see you now. Second, I was never a big fan of Kross, but it's sad to see him drop so far with fans who are openly laughing at his gear during his entrance. Love you guys. Keep up the great work. Do you know what? The crowd did boo the gear, so at least he got some sort of reaction.
This is like, I've never seen anyone say, oh my God, I love Karrion Kross. But I see so many people going, I'm not even that into Kross, but I feel bad for the guy.
Yeah.
It's not his fault.
Blind Raw, congrats, Luke. Now that you're going to be a dad, you know what you need? Some dad jokes. What kind of ant is best at his job? A fish ant. What do you call a boat driven by super intelligent people? A scholarship. Just no yes. Ollie, it was a nice way of you to dance in Tempest's latest video and give Pete a happy birthday to travel to Canada to help Test make that video. P.S. I'd rather watch Luke play Castlevania than watching Raw.
What? Didn't do any of that. I hate Lost Intangibles.
I mean, unless Tempest has posted anything on his channel and that we have not watched.
And Tempest... Maybe they did a green screen thing? Oh, take it down. I'll copyright claim it.
James Handley. I haven't been able to live over the last few... I haven't been able to be there live over the last few podcasts. So I just wanted to take the time to tell Luke congrats on becoming the DAD. It's the most rewarding job you'll ever have, minus the frustration. Name-wise, how about Gorg Owen or Dewdrop Owen? Did someone suggest me, like, you're going to call it Mega Drive? Like, oh, that's good.
What did Denise say on the Twitter? That you should call...
Oh, yeah, so she said you should call if you have a boy, call it Kevin. And I then very hilariously replied, I don't get it.
I didn't get it until I saw all the
Kevin
replies.
Owens thing.
Yeah.
Because I got it, and I thought it would be funny for me to reply, I don't get it. And then a lot of people were like, you're an idiot. It's clearly Kevin Owens. Guys, yeah, I know. Nicholas Lama, got my Geologie regiment and jammed that jam t-shirt yesterday. For as meh as Raw was, the higher Punk's return is still too good to come down from. P.S. Ollie, don't feel bad about getting emotional about something that brings you enjoyment. It was worth it.
I didn't get emotional, guys. So for today's news thumbnail, I just had to watch the whole segment again.
Yep.
I've 5 times now. I've watched it. I'll watch there's a 4-minute YouTube video of the entrance, and I'm like, oh, might as well. 10-minute promo one.
Still holds up?
Oh,
every time. Matthew Long, last time Willie was going to Link, Luke became a DAD. Do you want to take over the last minute ones?
Sure. Finelli, I'll book it myself, says, hey fellas, we have boxing chess. What board game would you combine with wrestling to improve Raw? Board game?
I mean, Raw is essentially, it's a game of snakes and ladders, but there's only ever snakes.
And one ladder.
For Roman.
Also, am I nuts for thinking the SummerSlam replacement would have been a better slot for Sonya Deville's in-ring return than for Becky's? I don't think so, no. No,
only because, I mean, Naomi, I think, would have been a better shout.
Yeah. Your gabbage mate, Karrion Kross, more like Karrion Lame. No, but honestly, I don't dislike his new look / gimmick, but when you have something amazing that works, why would you try and fix it? I'm sure he'll do his best with this, and say it with me now, we want Scarlett.
Well, Scarlett hasn't been on TV. I don't think Scarlett was at NXT either. So I don't really know what's going on there. And also, like, they think they have fixed it.
The crazy thing is, a couple of years ago, when Vince was in his later stage of trying to force the hypersexualized blonde character onto one of his performers, we were all like, look, but Scarlett Bordeaux is doing an Impact of her own volition. She wants to play an overly sexualized character. That's not problematic. Like, she's owning it. That's cool. They now have that person in the company, and they're actively not doing stuff with her.
Yeah. And as for, them thinking they need to fix the Karrion Kross character, I'd put money down, not Louis Dangold money, that Bruce Pritchard sat down with him and had one of his famous conversations where he's like, what does Karrion Kross mean? What does fallen prey mean? And he might have just said the word gladiator, and that's it. Got it. Demolition.
James Hanley. Alvarez recently looked into the active rosters for Raw, SmackDown, and Dynamite. Raw has 35 men and 13 women. SmackDown has 24 men and 10 women. This was from the 9th of August. Dynamite's active roster is 79 men and 18 women. Wanted to know what you guys think. I think AEW's got too many people, but they do also now have Rampage.
I mean, I think the more thing is the disparity between the men and women.
Yeah, well, that's nothing.
I was about to say, I'm actually surprised it's 18, as high as 18, because it doesn't feel like it's as high as 18.
We've been saying forever. That's the major problem with AEW.
Absolutely.
They just do not treat their women's division properly.
Nope.
Nate S., if they wanted to... I'm amazed Britt Baker has gotten to where she is in that company. Nate S., if they wanted SummerSlam this Boosie to have a WrestleMania feel... This sure doesn't sound like a Raw after Mania level show. WWE shouldn't keep going into holding patterns for their next moment. Sad POYOMP3. Don't care about Raw. I'm here to say love your streams a ton. Can't wait for Dynamite tomorrow in Milwaukee. That Cassidy Hardy match should be great. Jam that jam. Thank you. Nicholas Lama. I would love to see Walter on SmackDown. Walter versus Nakamura or Cesaro. Yes, please. But also wouldn't want to see Walter get ruined by the main roster.
We've seen what happens with Walter on the main roster. Loses by DQ to Seth Rollins, then gets beat by Seth Rollins, then gets eliminated at Survivor Series in 3 minutes. Clearly, Vince don't like him.
Kamal Aref. I find it very amusing that Ollie is corpsing at a Logan Paul joke. Also, congrats, Daddy Luke.
Thank you.
Corpsing is a pun in itself there, and it is what us English people call breaking. You know, when you laugh in a segment. Pointless AF. Remember when people said Karrion Kross was going to be Brock Lesnar 2.0 when he first arrived at NXT? Other than Vince sending a message that doesn't care about NXT when Hardy beat him, what the hell went wrong with Kross in Vince's eyes?
He came from NXT.
Yeah. And finally, Puckhead, 1994. Damien Priest, the Archer of Infamy, to lead Gorgon Sorg as Archer, leader of the Gorgonites. Nice small soldiers reference.
That is a reference, again, that is right up your alley.
Good references.
It's a very good reference today.
Well, thank you very much for joining us for this show and all your generous Ultra Chats. Go over to Geologie. The link is in the video description right now. Just do the test and see what it comes back with.
Yes, please do. Get yourself 40% off your 30-day trial using our link in the video description down below. You've heard both Ollie and I rave about this service. Get yourself better looking skin. It's men's skincare reinvented.
Jam that jam.
Jam that jam. You need to fist me. You need to fist me. Yeah, fist me, bro. Jam that jam, everyone.
Jam that jam. Skincare.
Skincare.
Yeah.